Tim, and this is my Cypress testing challenge for Module 19. So we were given this quiz, and the idea is to install Cypress as a dev dependency, and then to configure Cypress for end-to-end testing and component testing. So we see here the site can't be reached. The first step we need to do is start our project. We'll go into our package.json here, and there's a few different options for scripts, but in this case we're going to start with start dev. The first thing we need to do is npm install, and you wait for that to do its thing. The next thing we'll do is npm run build, and you wait for that to build our package, and this will give us the dist folders in the client and the server. npm run start :dev. Now this will concurrently run the server dev and the client dev. And when that loads, you'll see our first button that just says start quiz. So this is our quiz. We can start quiz, and it'll ask us 10 questions. You can go through and select all of your answers to get through all 10 questions. And then you're given your score, a notification that the quiz is complete, and an option to take a new quiz. When you click take a new quiz, it restarts you back to the beginning with a random question. So we need to test this program to make sure everything's working like it should. So in our Cypress folder here, we'll start with component testing. Now we've built this quiz.cy.jsx component to test the quiz.tsx file. So we're going to describe our quiz, and before it's submitted, we'll intercept it whenever it's submitted to this GET request at this URL. We'll intercept it, and we're going to run these tests. So the first test here is mounting on the quiz. The next is making sure that it renders with a question. The first string will describe what you're testing. So the first step here, we're checking to see if there is a button that says start quiz, and we did have that on the very first screen, that right in the center said start quiz. So we're good there. The next one is checking to see if it allows you to click on that start quiz button, and when you do click on the start quiz button, then the first card is visible. So we've started our quiz, we're on question number 1 right now, and we do have this card visible here. If you're on your browser and you right click and inspect, we'll see in our HTML file here, if we hover over this, okay, what's not working? We'll see in our HTML file here that when we hover over this, it highlights the line that we're looking for, and this is the card class, card P4. So in our test, we built it to look for that card being visible, so it can know whether or not it passes that test. So then we'll go through our test, and it checks to see if you can click the button that contains number 1, and it tries that, and it knows that you can in fact push that button. So you'll go all the way through the test, and this line is going to check and see if our alert is rendered. That's our score there. I failed that one, huh? Alright, there is our alert, and we can see that it is being rendered. And then it's going to check to see if there is a take new quiz button as well. There it is, our take new quiz button. If we click that, it's going to render a new card. That's the next step. So that completes our component test, and in a second we'll click into Cypress and watch it run that test. But first, let's look at our end-to-end test. This is our quiz.cy.js. So here we've got a very similar layout. It'll check to see if your able to get to this home page, it'll check to see if you've got the Start Quiz button, if the card is visible, if you can click the button, and then that the alert is visible at the end. Now here, the component test just checks that there is a card and that you can click it, but this one end-to-end actually checks that you go through all 10 questions before you get your Take New Quiz button and your alert at the end. So that's it for our testing files here. Why don't we go ahead and close out of our local, and we'll take the script from our package.json. We're going to look for this one, npm run test. I didn't know it would do that. I just learned that if you hover over the script, you can run the script right here from, you don't even have to type npm run test. Alright, terminal will be reused by task. Press any key to close it. Well, maybe that's not the right way to do that then. We'll skip over that part. Anyway, we're going to click npm run test. And this should, in turn, run npx Cypress open, which will open our Cypress testing here. We'll start with our component testing. We'll leave it on Chrome and start the component testing. And this is our quiz.cy.jsx file. So we'll click that and it'll begin loading our tests. You saw it there on the right hand side. It ran through all the tests really fast. But this actually is a pre-populated mock test that we built into our VS Code. And I can show you that in a second too. But that's just where it's going to use, that's the file it's going to use to run this component test. So these are all of our things that it's testing, like we watched earlier. It renders the page, it mounts on the quiz, and checks to see if you have the button, the Start Quiz button, and on the right hand side you can see there's our button. It allows you to click on the answer. It allows you to click on the button. After you finish answering, it gives you an alert that you've passed your test and here's your score. And then you have your Take New Quiz button that will restart the whole program and give you a new random question. So good news, we passed our test. We'll close all of those so you can see what this looks like. Now why don't we go back into our end-to-end testing. Here's our end-to-end test. We'll let the test load, and this will test the actual program, not the mock test that we had earlier. But that's not good. Why is that happening? That's because I forgot to boot the web server. So let's pause for a second. Alright, so the component testing can be run from Cypress. The end-to-end testing needs to have the local running. So to start that, I've split our terminal, our integrated terminal in VS Code, into two windows here. In the first one, I'm going to run npm run start:dev, and that's going to run this script here that will start our local. When that goes, so now we can see our Start Quiz button here. That's loaded like it should. Now we'll go back into our npm run test, and this will run the Cypress script here. When this opens, we'll select our end-to-end testing button, start it in Chrome, and then we'll select the quiz.cy.js file. That's our end-to-end test from VS Code. And if you watch here on the right, it goes through all 10 questions, gets the alert at the end, and then clicks the restart button to make sure that it will actually click restart and give you the new card at the beginning. So just like what was shown in our quiz.cy.js. These are the tests. Renders with a question, passed. Allows click, passed. Renders with an alert, passed. And restarts quiz, passed. So our Cypress test proves that our quiz program is running successfully. I did want to show you here in fixtures, here's Cypress, fixtures, questions.json. This is where I put our mock test that the component test ran whenever it was on the right hand side here. You could see what is the output of print 2, 3. So that's my Cypress testing program. Thank you for watching.